Professor, please explain Michael Porter's five forces model.
Sure, in this class, I will explain Michael Porter's five forces model. The five forces model is a framework used by American management scholar Michael Porter to analyze industry structure. The five forces model is a theory that assesses how attractive an industry is by analyzing five external environmental forces. It is also known as an industrial structure analysis model because it analyzes the attractiveness of the industry. Therefore, the five forces model corresponds to a model that analyzes competitiveness at the industry level. The five forces proposed by Michael Porter include the rivalry among the existing competitors, the bargaining power of suppliers, the bargaining power of buyers, the threat of substitutes, and the entry of new competitors. By analyzing these five forces, companies currently entering the market can understand the intensity of competition in the future market and decide whether it is advisable to further strengthen their current business or to withdraw. Also, companies planning to enter the market can decide whether to enter or not by analyzing five forces. Now, let's explain each of the five forces in detail. The first force is the rivalry among the existing competitors. This means the current level of competition with competitors. As competition intensifies, the attractiveness of the market decreases. To assess the current level of competition with competitors, we analyze the number of competing firms, market size, market growth rates, product differences, the scale of fixed costs, and exit barriers. The more competing firms there are, the fiercer the competition becomes. Additionally, smaller market sizes and lower market growth rates also intensify competition. Moreover, as the level of product differences decreases, competition becomes more intense. Furthermore, when fixed costs associated with product production are low, it becomes easier to produce the product, leading to increased competition. And the easier it is to withdraw from the market, the more competitive it becomes. And the easier it is to exist from the market, the more competitive it becomes. If you evaluate the determinants and add them up in total, you can see that the degree of competition with current competitors is high, medium, or low, and thus the market attractiveness can be evaluated as high, medium, or low. The second force is the bargaining power of suppliers. The bargaining power, or negotiation power of suppliers, refers to the power of suppliers who provide raw materials or intermediate goods. The higher the bargaining power of suppliers, the weaker the negotiating power of manufacturers when they acquire raw materials or intermediate goods, resulting in a decrease in the attractiveness of the market. Determinants of the bargaining power of suppliers include various elements, such as the number of suppliers, the degree of difference of the supplied products, the presence of substitutes, the ease of switching suppliers, and the potential for supplier integration. A higher number of suppliers and lower differentiation of supplied products weaken the bargaining power of suppliers. Additionally, the presence of substitutes and the ease of switching suppliers reduce bargaining power of suppliers. Furthermore, if suppliers find it difficult to achieve enlargement or vertical integration through mergers or acquisitions, their bargaining power decreases. By evaluating the elements that determine a supplier's bargaining power individually and then summing up the scores in total, it is possible to identify whether the supplier's bargaining power is high, medium, or low, and thus the market attractiveness can be evaluated as high, medium, or low. The weaker the bargaining power of suppliers, the higher the market attractiveness. The third force is the bargaining power of buyers. The bargaining power of buyers refers to the power possessed by customers who purchase products from manufacturers. As the bargaining power of buyers decreases, the power of manufacturers strengthens, which increases market attractiveness. Buyers' bargaining power can be broadly categorized into bargaining leverage and price sensitivity. Bargaining leverage means buyers' purchasing negotiation power. Determinants, or elements to influence, include the number of buyers, purchase volume, the presence of substitutes, buyer concentration, and buyer switching costs, etc. As there are more buyers and the quantity purchased, the bargaining power of consumers decreases, and as there are fewer substitutes, the bargaining power of buyers decreases. Also, the lower the concentration, in other words, the lower the proportion of purchases made by a small number of buyers out of the total purchase volume, the lower the bargaining power of buyers, and the higher the switching cost of buyers due to the lack of other products, the lower the bargaining power of the buyers. Price sensitivity varies depending on elements such as product differences, brand identity, and the proportion of product purchase cost in buyers' income. As product differences increase, price sensitivity decreases, resulting in a decrease in the bargaining power of buyers. Similarly, high brand identity leads to reduced price sensitivity and lower bargaining power of buyers. In addition, when the purchase cost of the company's products accounts for a low proportion of the buyer's income, price sensitivity decreases, leading to a decrease in the bargaining power of buyers and an increase in market attractiveness. The bargaining power of the buyers is determined by combining the evaluation of bargaining leverage and price sensitivity. If the bargaining power of the buyers is evaluated as high, medium, or weak, the market attractiveness can be evaluated as high, medium, or low. As the bargaining power of buyers decreases, the power of manufacturers strengthens, leading to an increase in market attractiveness.
Professor, you have explained 3 out of the 5 forces of Michael Porter's 5 forces model, but I'm not sure I fully understand.
That's correct. The 5 forces model by Michael Porter seems easy at first glance, but it can be complex. Therefore, it's important to allocate time for students to review the material thoroughly after the class. Please make sure to review it. The 4th force is the entry of new competitors. It means the potential for new entrants in the future. The ease of entry for new companies into the market is referred to as entry barriers. The higher the entry barriers, the lower the entry of new companies into the market, resulting in reduced competition and increased market attractiveness. Entry barriers are determined by elements such as the initial capital requirements, legal and regulatory frameworks, ease of reaching economies of scale, accessibility, degree of product differences, brand identity, access to distribution channels, and exit barriers. The lower the initial capital requirements, the lower the government's entry regulations, and the easier it is to reach economies of scale, the lower the barrier to entry. And the less product differences and brand loyalty there is, the easier it is for new companies to enter the market, resulting in decreased market attractiveness. Additionally, the easier access to distribution channels and the lower the exit barriers, the lower the entry barrier and therefore lower market attractiveness. By evaluating the factors described in the table individually and then combining them, the possibility of entry by new competitors in the future can be identified as high, medium, or low, and thus the market attractiveness can be evaluated as high, medium, or low. The 5th force is the threat of substitutes. It means the possibility of future substitute emergence or the likelihood of products that can replace the current product. As the ease of substitute emergence increases, competition intensifies, resulting in a decrease in market attractiveness. This force includes various elements, such as the presence of potential substitutes, ease of substitute emergence, qualitative level of substitutes, substitute prices, and the buyer propensity to substitute. As the number of potential substitutes in the future increases, or as substitutes can easily emerge, competition intensifies, leading to a decrease in market attractiveness. Moreover, when substitutes have a higher qualitative level or lower prices, the competitiveness of our product decreases, resulting in a decline in market attractiveness. Additionally, if buyers have a higher propensity to substitute, in other words, a higher likelihood of easily purchasing alternative products, the market attractiveness decreases. by evaluating the elements described in the table individually and then combining them. The threat of substitute in the future can be identified as high, medium, or low, and thus the market attractiveness can be evaluated as high, medium, or low. Ella, by comprehensively evaluating the 5 forces described so far, you can easily determine the attractiveness of the industry. The comprehensive evaluation method is to evaluate key elements on a 5-point or 7-point scale, and then add them up. The evaluation can be performed jointly with marketing department personnel and industry experts for professional evaluation. The 5 forces model is used as a tool to assess whether existing companies should exit or new companies may enter the industry.
Professor, I understand the 5 forces model now. Thank you.